Officials in BC are warning people to stay away from the banks of two major rivers in the central interior. A powerful surge of water and debris began flowing down the Fraser River after a dam gave way that was caused by a massive landslide last week. That caused water to accumulate upstream for days. Tricia Kindleman has been following this story for us. Tricia, what more are officials saying today about this flow of water and debris?
Well, Jacqueline, we're starting to get a real sense of the damage that's been left behind after that water began releasing through that natural dam yesterday and making its way through the Chilcotin River and then connecting down with the Fraser River. And it will eventually make its way out towards the coast. So now we have some actual video here to give you a bit of a sense of the strength of this water. This is at the Farwell Canyon. This was a cabin that was there, a heritage cabin actually, that the waters eroded the riverbank so much that that cabin was eventually swallowed up by those waters as well. Now, this is just the first indication of really the strength of this water and the damage that could be left behind by it, as it is also just full of debris. You can see those logs there that were taken down by that landslide. In the mix also is silt and other trees and debris that are really creating that backlog and causing issues where that water had backed up behind it. But again, as we said yesterday, we did see that release of that water begin. And we're hearing from officials now that they are actually saying this could be some of the best case scenarios that they were modeling. Here's a bit more from Bowen Ma.
Managing emergencies is about hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. The risks were real, and we were very concerned that the worst case scenario could have come to fruition. And under that worst case scenario, we would have seen significantly greater impacts than what we do now. Now, we aren't quite clear of the woods yet. We have still a few hours left for the water to drain from behind the dam, and then we need to take the time to assess how the landscape fared following that event. But I am extremely grateful that the worst case scenario
So now some of those flows are expected to reach close to what they see through the spring runoff season. And now that's expected to have impacts all along the Chilcotin and down into the Fraser River, as far downstream as Hope, BC, which is about 300 kilometers south. Also, other municipalities are making efforts to keep their infrastructure safe as well. Late today, we got a notice from the city of Maple Ridge saying that they had closed the Port Haney Wharf floating dock, just out of an abundance of caution, as they are anticipating the water levels to rise and potentially some debris to make its way through that area as well. Jacqueline.
Well, Tricia, no doubt relief, I imagine, for many people in the area that the worst case scenario, as the Minister of Emergency Preparedness was saying there, didn't happen. But what are some of the other concerns as this water continues to move downstream?
Well, we're continuing to hear from officials those warnings about staying away from those riverbanks, which are going to be left extremely unstable due to the pace of this rushing water going through there. But we also did hear from leadership of the Chilcotin First Nation earlier today, and they talked about the impacts that this could have on their salmon industry around there. It is currently spawning season, so those salmon are trying to make their way upstream, which of course now they're going to be competing with debris again as they are making their way through there. This is a critical spot for those salmon to be able to access and to get through. So they are very concerned about what those long-term impacts could be. And there's some frustrations as well, as they said that this was actually a concern that they flagged to the federal government in 2017 after a wildfire moved through the area. And they believe that led to some of this instability. Here's a bit more from their update today.
We reported that this was a very real possibility. You know, the trees that eliminated all the fires, that eliminated all the trees right up and through all of our rivers, making the banks or river banks very unstable. And now that's what we've predicted has come true. We said this in 2017.
So now they did say that they are having ongoing conversations with both levels of government. So the province and the feds are trying to work with the First Nations from the region to ensure that the impacts from this most recent incident can be mitigated as best as possible. But still, a lot of concern from them as to what the ramifications of this are going to be in the long run. Jacqueline.
Okay, lots of questions still there, Tricia. Thanks so much. That's CBC's Tricia Kindleman. Well, for more on what this means for the region, including businesses in the area, we're now joined by Brian Mack. He's the owner of Silversides Fishing Adventures, and he joins us today from Vancouver. Brian, thanks so much for making time for us.
Yeah, you're welcome, and thanks for inviting me.
So I understand that this should be peak season for you. You do guided fishing tours on the Fraser River. You're in the Vancouver area, so still quite a bit, downstream from where, the Chilcotin River meets the Fraser River, and where the biggest concerns are when it comes to the flow of water and debris coming that overcame this landslide. However, the government has said that everyone needs to stay away from the Fraser River and the Chilcotin River for the time being. What kind of an impact is this having on your business?
Well, that's a good question. I had to cancel 2 trips over the last 3 days due to, I launch out of Mission, British Columbia, and the boat launch is closed down due to some kind of hazard warning. And I have friends up and down the Fraser River from all the way up to the Chilcotin down to the Fraser Valley. And they sent me some photographs earlier today, which I sent to, I think, your correspondent. And it's not looking very nice. It's nobody wants to be on the river when there's like 5,000 logs coming downstream every minute. It's just not a nice situation. So
yeah,
that's just the way it is. I mean,
yeah,
it's part of life on the Fraser. I mean, these things happen every few years, so we just got to deal with it. And clients, unfortunately, especially if they come from out of town or USA or whatever, or even Europe, it's very inconvenient for them. But there's nothing much we can do about it.
Yeah, safety first, of course. I wonder what it's like. I mean, we're looking at these images of the debris in the river, and I mean, we're looking at it from afar. It's not a body of water that we're traveling on all the time, but you are. What is it like to see that level of logs and trees and whatnot coming down this river?
Well, the main concern for us as fishing guides is obviously safety first. Because we mostly do sturgeon fishing on the Fraser River, and so we have to anchor up and stay in one position, and then our boats just get pounded by logs, which is not a good thing. Like for safety reasons and mechanical reasons, and the fishing is not very nice when it's like that. So we actually don't want to take our clients out in the river. That's why I had to cancel 2 trips over the last few days.
So when you're thinking longer term here, Brian, I mean, these trees, this debris, it's in the river now. It's floating down the river. I mean, even when the water level sort of settles, the debris will still be there. What are you bracing for in terms of a longer term impact?
We're not so concerned about that because all that stuff is just going to flow downstream and go out into the ocean. So the people that I talk to upstream, like up near Chilcotin River, which I got some videos from this morning, it's already cleared out. So what's going to happen is, I guess in about 2 or 3 days in the southern Fraser Valley, that's all going to get blown out. And it's all going to go into the salt water, and then it's game over. Like, we'll be back to normal conditions.
Okay.
So we're not too worried about that.
So nature doing its thing, Brian, kind of all around here in terms of the incident itself, the landslide, and then hopefully clearing things up as well. But for you and for your business, Brian, the financial impact that you're looking at, what do you think?
Well, the financial impact is not nice. You know, like and the big question that we are asking is, this puts a lot of fear into people who want to book, down the road. They're thinking that the possible instability of the Fraser River is concerning for people. Not everybody, but some people are fearful of the instability of the water quality and stuff. So it does have a financial impact on us. But I've been dealing with this for years, and it's just the way it goes. Like, the Fraser River is a beast. It's some years it's good, some years it's you always get this stuff in the Fraser River. There's always floods, as you are well aware, especially from I think 22. Like that massive flood in the Fraser Valley.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. So we have to deal with this, and sometimes, some years we have awesome, financial results, and other years we struggle. So that's just the life of being a fishing guide.
Yeah, the ebbs and flows of the river and of business there as well. Brian, really appreciate you making time for us this afternoon. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Wishing you the best for your business as well. That's Brian Mack, owner of Silversides Fishing Adventures, and he joined us today from Vancouver.